unused or unbathed, unsafe living conditions, no heat or running water, faulty electrical wiring, other fire hazards, depression or worsening health conditions. Caregiver stress. Caring for a not too well older person suffering from mental or physical impairment can be highly stressful. Individuals who do not have the requisite skills, information, resources, etc., who are otherwise ill prepared for the caregiving role may experience extreme stress and frustration, which can lead to neglect of the elderly. Dependency or impairment of the elder. It is being noted that as an adult, dependency increases, so does the resentment and stress of the caregiver. Elders in relatively good health do not suffer as much as those with poor health. External stress, such as financial problems, job stress, and additional family stressors are also causes of neglect of the elderly. Here is where individuals who were neglected as children become part of a cycle of neglect. The neglect is learned as a form of accepted behavior in response to conflict or tension. Thus, the caregiver is at risk of becoming a perpetuator of neglect of the elderly. That is, if the elder who is receiving the care previously neglected the caregiver as a child, who is now simply returning the neglect they suffer. What goes around comes around. Caregivers' personal problems. Some caregivers may be guilty of neglect of the elderly as a function of their own difficulties. Example, a caregiver who is addicted to alcohol or drugs or an emotional disorder is most likely to neglect persons under their care. Persons who are victims of neglect of the elderly exhibit emotional distress such as crying, depression, or despair. Experience a sudden loss of appetite that is unrelated to a medical condition. Are confused and disoriented. This may be the result of malnutrition. And emotionally numb, withdrawn, or detached. Exhibit regressive behavior. Exhibit self-destructive behavior. Express unrealistic expectation about their care, claiming that their care is adequate when it is not, or insisting that the situation will improve.
Well, some of them you find them sad most of the time. You know, they're withdrawn from, they're not associated with the fellow inmates and stuff like that. You get a difficult time talking to them. Most of the time they're distant. So that's mostly because the family left them and don't look. The ones that have families visited, they're more open. They kind of adjust to the new lifestyle and stuff like that. But with the ones not who don't have anybody visiting them, they are the ones that are withdrawn. So you find them either not wanting to eat and drink, but with the others that they have families visiting, they're okay.
Most patients without family visiting them would tend to have kind of, a nerve problem. Sometimes they will be talking about, well, this person left me since a year ago and they wouldn't come back, or they did something for me and then come in to see me or stuff like that, and they would tend to have shaking issues or constantly studying about it, and the reaction isn't really nice. They would be lonesome, sometimes neglectful to others. They don't want to eat, they don't want to talk to others, they would be talking to themselves. Likewise, others with family would be at peace. If they have a cell phone, they would call the relatives and talk to them. Or what else? They would just be comfortable, you know. They would gather with the nurses and stuff like that.
More educational discussion should be done in school and publicly about the requirement of how to deal with the elderly. Every person, every man, woman, and child deserves to be treated with respect and with care.
Intervening when you suspect neglect of the elderly.
Listening to seniors and their caregivers.
Raising public awareness about early identification and prevention.
Providing information, advice, and advocacy on a one-to-one or family basis, including provision of support and services about preventing abuse or neglect in the future.
And so that our elders could have legal aids and social workers to help them with their problems and to make sure that they are not isolated.